So guys, today we'll be fitting some more clamps to my braided lines. They finally turn up. Also, we'll be fitting, we've got a new billet oil return feed or adapter for my AN line for my turbo, just because what I've got on there in a minute, I'll show you. It's got an O-ring and a paper gasket on it, whereas this one is like a flush bit. I'll show you the comparison in a minute. I'm hoping that this is going to basically not leak, because that one, sometimes the gasket, because it's quite thin on the edge, it bursts and cracks and then it leaks through it, mainly on the anti-lag and things like that, where I think oil must be flowing through it faster or something. I don't really know, but that's what I've noticed it goes on normally. So I've got a new one of these to fit. Hopefully it does fit. And we'll also be waiting for some powder coated parts. I'll be able to show you them when I get to Buchan and Blast that are doing the parts for me, because we'll be able to do some filming around there for them. But for now, let's crack on with these bits. So it's just like what we've done on the top here with these clamps. Like I say, they just look a bit more neater. So I've ordered some more. I've got 4, and I'm going to try and clamp these basically, because I've got a cable tie here. I might be able to keep that one just because I don't think we've got a lot of space. I don't know. And then we'll just see and tidy them up here basically and going across rather than having all these cable ties. I think if we put these clamps on, they might be a bit neater. So I know some of you are going to say about me using the Stanley knife to cut these cable ties off, but I couldn't find my side cutters, so this would have to do for me. Now, I might get one more clip just for up there ordered, but I only ordered 4 because it was mainly underneath here, but that looks so much better than having all them cable ties. The only thing is I had to put a cable tie through here again. That's where it was mounted before, hence the holes drilled. The fan don't catch it at all, if anyone thinks that. It's only through there just to hold it up. You could do this, put one through here, but you'd have to try and drill that or go somehow through this bit. But the only reason I didn't do anything, because I could use this or this, but my front bumper goes onto here, screws onto here, the under tray to it. So I've just left it like that for now. 10 times better. I'm happy with that. This is the new billet part I was talking about that I've ordered. So this hasn't got an O-ring. The one I'm going to take off will have an O-ring just on this outer piece. The gasket keeps going on this little corner here on the O-ring one. So I'm hoping with this being completely flush, this gasket should make a better seal for the turbo. So as you can see, this is the fitting that I've got. How thin that is on this little bit here is where I think it keeps going, whereas this is the new one. Hasn't got the O-ring like this one does, which I'm not too sure if you're supposed to just run this O-ring without a gasket or not, but the gasket fits the same on both. And I used to run a gasket and the O-ring just because it kept leaking with the O-ring. I have replaced this O-ring twice now, and as well as the gasket, and it keeps blowing out just on the side here, which is slightly annoying. I just thought if I change it completely, then hopefully that will solve my problem of this keep blowing out. I'll keep this as a spare just in case it doesn't work, but we'll get this new one on and we can actually get it fitted to the turbo. So as I've cleaned this turbo right out, I am going to have to pre-oil the turbo. I've heard about people saying about it before, where I can sort of hear the bearings in the turbo like that at the minute. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and use this syringe with my engine oil and see if I can squirt it through the feed to come out of here, so I know it's pre-lubricated everything inside of this. Fingers crossed this works. As well, for my oil, I'm using the Titan Race 10W60 as it comes out in this red colour, as you can see. So I think the best way of doing it is getting the syringe full first. Yes, it is a cowpole one as well. It's the only syringe I had. So I think if I just get some of this, put the turbo feed over the top and try and syringe it in, I think this might make a mess. How much actually went in this, I don't know. So I've now upgraded. I've got this syringe I found. Let's see if this one's any better. This one seems to be working. I'm basically just going to keep doing this until I see it come out of the return side. So like I said before, I had a problem always with this leaking out of this paper gasket. So this is why I'm doing it extra tight, the bolts. Just because I don't know if it's when the vibration on the turbo with the anti-lag, I don't know if that loosens the bolts off and then that's what creates it to leak, it then blows out, or if it is the fitting itself. But at least if I'm changing it, it's going to give me the correct answer if it's fixed the problem or not. I thought I'd just put some more oil in the turbo while it was fitted, just because at least then I can be 100% sure that it's got everywhere on the bearings inside. So that's both the feeds done. I've got my oil feed that is on the top here, and I've luckily done it to where Rory's done his pink line before when he's fitted this, so at least I know that's where it won't leak, or hopefully won't leak. And then we've got the other one just down here, the oil return with my new billet bit, so hopefully that don't leak. I am going to just spray this over and get rid of some of this overspill of oil. But that is all the feeds together. Just have to wait for when I get the turbo back to connect the front housing. Now we've got the oil feeds to the turbo out the way, I've just got another parcel being delivered, which is another thing we can tick off the list, is extended wheel bolts. So for the back, I'm still running ST stuff on the rear, but for the front, it's a full RS conversion with the AP big brake kit. With the AP big brake kit, the disc is so thick that what bolts onto the hub, it pushes the wheel bolts out so they're not as long. And little do a lot of people know that the wheels were literally only held on, I reckon, 3 threads max, I would say, turns. Like, not even turn, just literally 3 threads holding the wheel on, like each nut. So I brought some extended ones just to try and eliminate that, so we can actually put these nuts on properly and know that I'm safe on the front. Because before, I had about 3 threads and then I just absolutely cranked them on to make sure they didn't fall off. But yeah, I mean, we survived this long, so we can get this on and do this properly now. As you can see just from this bit, they're not sticking through very far, and these ones hopefully will have a lot more thread on them to get them through. I think it's like 10 mil or 15 mil, I think these extend out, so that should be just, like I say, enough for the extra thread. You can sort of see where the markings were. First of all, we have to get the brake caliper off. as you can see, the wheel bolts aren't very long at all, and these are the new ones that will go in. Yeah, they stick out way further than the others. So with these, I think I might have to take this whole hub off and down to my brother's garage just to press these out, because I don't think I can hit these out and back in with them here like this. So what I'm going to try first, I think, is try and hit these out, and I wonder if they'll push past there. There's a bit of movement in now or not. Oh no. Yeah, so they definitely ain't going to come past there. At least that's proven that theory, but that's what you do. You hammer these out just like that. And then when it comes to the new ones, you'd put like a bigger nut, and then you would screw just your wheel nut to pull them in rather than hit them in. Yeah, looks like I have to take this whole hub off and then get these pressed out a bit and try and get these in. We've taken all these bolts off the hub. They weren't actually too bad, luckily, because they haven't been on for very long from when I first refurbed them. So everything did come off reasonably easy. So now that we've got one of the Revo knuckles off, this is what a Revo knuckle is. You want me to explain it? I wish I could. It's to do with, if you've got like bearing or something in the top here, a bearing here. I think it helps with putting the power down. I'm not 100% sure. Everyone raves about them, but in my eyes, I only got it for the bigger drive shafts. So, but yeah, so now I've got this one out. We can take this down to the garage and get a press in here to take this, push this bearing out, so then we can install the new studs. I'm just going to repeat the process of taking this one out on the other side, and then we can take these down to the press. So while we're waiting for the press to get free to do them bearings, we will move on to another thing that turned up today, which is a brand new Mishimoto oil cooler to get rid of this one. I saw in the comments people saying about them, and I do agree. There's so many little thin bits in here, and the amount of metal that come out is, yeah, just ridiculous really. And I've had a lot of messages saying I should just change it. So that's what we're doing today. I also, with this, I've gone for a black one this time. So to get rid of the gold, we have now gone for a black one, because I just thought it would tie in. I've got a black uprated rad, I've got a black intercooler, and then it was nice having the gold one on here, but I just thought the black is just going to tie in everything so much more nice. But with this also, as you can see, my oil cooler goes that way up, which would be a W, not an M as it should be. But these are universal, you can mount them however you want. This side is blank. So what I'm going to do is mount it upside down like this. And I've also printed off a sign with a bit of paper, and we'll spray the M on there. And I just went and brought some red spray paint from Halfords, just so it will match the bottom intercooler as well. So I've got the red AirTech on a black intercooler, and then I'll have a red Mishimoto on a black oil cooler. So it should look quite nice. It should actually tie everything in. Let's get this masked up and ready for paint. Like I said before, it was not worth trying to run the original oil cooler with all them bits of metal in, just because I thought the sake of, I think this was like £130 it cost me, and the price of an engine, I just thought it's worth to change it now. Plus, I think it would time the car a lot better than what I thought the gold one would. Well, while we wait for the paint to dry on the oil cooler, there is another bit that I'm going to get fitted, is this interior bit. It's mainly because on mine, when I had the 0.1 shifter installed, you would see that I cut a piece out of it. Well, now I'm not running that, I'm running the standard shifter. I need to then replace that plastic for the bit that I've cut out, basically, because now the shroud don't hold, as I'll show you. So in here, the 0.1 shifter went on. Well, I had to cut this piece here, which now means that this is just loose, moving around. So I'm going to get this centre piece out and get that other one in to swap it over. So after struggling for a little bit as well, I've realised this is the one I've taken out, as you can see the cup holders, and this is the one that's supposed to replace it. So something here is not letting it fit properly. I don't really know what it is, because there's a gap here for this anyway. So I don't understand why this one seems to not fit, but this one does. So basically what I'm going to do is take this carbon piece off by undoing all of these little clips here, which they're all melted on, and undo this one, swap them around, glue them back together. It's going to take a lot longer than what I thought, but we've got to have it done properly. So it turns out you don't actually have to press these bearings out, because I didn't realise there is actually a bearing remover tool which my brother had at his garage. So the way you set this up is you basically have 4 pins that hold the machine away from each other, and then when you ratchet it, you're ratcheting the thread closer with a nut to the other side that pulls the bearing towards you and out, which seemed to work a lot easier than what I thought it was going to be. As you can see on the right hand side old bolt, the dark bit at the end of it is as much thread as the nut actually went on. So by having the extra 15 or so mil is going to make a massive difference with it actually holding my wheel on or not. How we managed to put the other bolts in using a vise, just because they were so tight to put in you couldn't just hammer them in, and I forgot my wheel nuts so I couldn't put them on and use a bigger nut, pull it through the hub. But there you go, that's them all in, and we can now use the tool again to push the bearings back in. It basically works the other way around, so instead of pulling it with a bit of thread, you're now pushing it. So now that we have the hubs back from having the wheel bolts extended, thanks to my brother helping me out with this, because they were in bloody tight. Like, the other ones pushed out fairly easy, but these things, I think you're going to struggle getting them back out from how hard they were putting them back in. But yeah, we won't waste no time, we'll get them straight on. Putting the hubs back together is very easy because you just do basically everything you've done a minute ago in reverse. So now that I've finally done the hubs and extended the wheel bolts and they're all back on, I can finally put on the drive shafts that we refurbished a bit. So this is why I've been putting this job off, because it was pointless putting these on because I knew I had to take the hubs off. Let's get these on now. When you put the oil on the drive shafts, you haven't got to put it on the splines, but I done it just as a precaution. Because I thought even if it is on the splines, should help it slide in a bit easier. Really, you only need it on the seal that's going to be on the outside. I did put a little bit on the seal as well as the drive shaft. Also, another thing to add is I know there'll be a lot of mechanics watching this that saw me put the drive shafts into the hub first and then the gearbox, when I'm pretty sure the correct way to do it is putting it in the gearbox first and then the hubs. I mean, I don't think it really matters, but I know there is a certain way that mechanics do certain things, but I found this way was easier for me. With these drive shaft bolts, I think there is a torque setting for them and a certain degrees after you do the torque setting, but I didn't have a torque wrench to hand, so I've just done them up tight for now and can always re-torque them later on. When you're doing the bigger drive shaft, it's quite good because you've got this like locator bit to it which you then clamp over, and you will see that you think it's gone all the way in and then it will suddenly go a little bit further, and it was actually a stop on that bracket, so you know when drive shaft's fully into the box and not, which I thought was quite useful. Right, so now that's all the drive shafts on and all tightened, we can now move on to putting this subframe on and this torque mount as well for the gearbox, because the gearbox still been moving around fairly, as well as the steering rack's just been hanging there, so we can bolt that down onto these points here for the steering rack. But yeah, let's get this on. So I've just realised that this thing is very heavy. So it's a lot heavier than what I remember. But what I'm going to do is get this piece of wood here and a jack and try and jack it up into place. But I don't know how well this is going to go. We'll give it a go. Probably a reason why I took things off. Going to take this anti-roll bar off. Then we'll bring it up. Oh, gotta love it. Little did I know, with me taking that anti-roll bar off was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made of today working on the car, as you will see later on in the video. So if we have any people with STs or XR5s, you'll notice that this bracket that holds the back part of the subframe is got a big like sort of swan neck into that red piece I've had done. On STs that'll just be completely flat, it wouldn't really have a big swan neck on it like that, but that is the difference between having RS bushes on the subframe and ST bushes. The ST ones will butt the subframe right up to the shell of the car, whereas the RS ones are like a big spacer and they push it down away from the car, which then you have to change these brackets to these swan neck ones. I'm just going to interrupt this for a small break because everything I just done I had to take back off again. I literally got all the subframe on and everything, and then realised I had the anti-roll bar sitting beside the car that we took off. So if you think this all goes to plan, it doesn't, because I've had to take this arm off again. As you can see, I've dropped everything just to put that lovely anti-roll bar on. So, always remember what you're doing, which obviously I can't.
I think I need a break. Don't care how long it takes.
If I'm honest, I was really gutted that I had to take the whole thing off again, because I was taking just bit by bit, and then I realised I'm going to have to just drop the whole lot to get this back on. But everyone makes mistakes. There's not a lot you can do. You just got to kick through it and carry on.
Don't care how long it takes. You know I hate the way you make me feel so dark. You really broke my heart. You open up my scars. I think I need a 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 break. Don't care how long it takes. You know I hate the way you make me feel so dark. You really broke my heart. You open up my scars. I think I need a break. Don't care how long it takes. You know I hate the way you make me.
So that's a lot more progress made. That's pretty much the whole underneath done now. Everything else is just on the top and easy to get to now. That's all the sort of awkward stuff underneath, and the sort of real pain was doing them wheel bolts, because obviously you got to take it all apart. So it's good to get that job done and ticked off the list. Next up, we'll get the oil cooler on, because the paint's now finished drying, and I've just had a delivery of some new bolts, because these have like a shock absorbers sort of on these bolts. So I ordered some more for it, just because where it's hanging, it's sort of, it does move around a little bit. So I just wanted some, like, they're like rubber spacers. I'll show you what they are. So I've just had them delivered. So we'll get this old one off and the new one on.
Need a break. Don't care how long it takes. You know I hate the way you make me feel so dark. You really broke my heart. You open up my scars. I think I need a
So that's the old oil cooler off. As I've explained before with the Mishimoto bit, that is the one that we actually painted on it, because when you have it upside down, that is the factory one. So I think they do all their oil coolers like that, having it that way up, I think, so you mount it, but it is universal. It don't matter what way you have it. So we've done the exact same with this one as my new one, obviously. So I think this one's going to be a lot better. I think it just ties in with everything so much nicer than the gold. Even though the gold is a nice looking one. These are the fittings I was on about. They have like 2 threads either side and then a piece of rubber with 2 washers built into them. Basically, how that works is where I'm going to mount it. I'll mount it on these blue brackets. So it'll slot just like that, basically, with 2 of them like that. And it will just mount on the bracket. They just help with the sort of shock of the car. So when you're going over bumps and stuff, I think if the bracket's too hard over time, it could snap the metal on the bracket, because of course Ali's not the strongest. And I think the weight of this probably would bend the brackets down over time. Whereas at least with these shock bits on there, it's not as rigid. So I don't think it's going to flex as much. So we'll get this on now. So I think that's going to be a wrap for tonight. I've made some good progress today with all the bits that we've done. The oil cooler, I have got to admit, it looks so much better in black with the red. It just, I don't know, I just think it ties in so much nicer compared to the gold. I should have done it a long time ago really, but at least everyone now can be happy in the comments as well, knowing that this has been changed. And I think that was it. I think the only last bits of metal was in there because we managed to clean the pipes out fully, and the only things that was worrying me is this oil cooler. So it was definitely well worth the change, and yeah, at least we've got a bit of peace of mind now. On the next video, we'll be going to my powder coaters. I've got my turbo housing and some brackets and catch can and things like that being done. We actually get to watch the process of it. As my friend Harvard, that owns the powder coating place, he allowed us to go in there and video some bits. So I've got some videos of my mate's wheels being done, as well as my little bits as well. So at least you can see a bit more in depth of a powder coaters. If you didn't know how it's done, at least we can show you a bit more about it. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be a wrap for tonight. It is bitterly cold outside at the minute. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it snowed outside, and yeah, it is seriously cold out here. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this build series as much as I am, as it's actually been really fun and I've enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought I would, building this car back up. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.